Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to the It Takes a Village podcast. I'm Ashley, your host. This is where the struggles are real, the callings are heavy, the kids are sticky. We come together because it takes a village, and this is your tribe. Hey, what's up, family? It has been so freaking long since I've been on to do a podcast episode. You guys, maybe we should talk about limit setting or what it'll take to break you, because that is where I'm at. I decided to foster two dogs, two puppies. Let's get real. It's puppies. Like, they're 9 weeks old now. So not even dogs. We're talking like babies. And I thought that it would be fun since we're home and, coronavirus and kids need to learn responsibilities. I thought, why not? And because also we were discussing getting a dog possibly. We already have two dogs as it is, two kids, 7 and 10, and an 8-month-old. So yeah, I pretty much figured out where my limits are, and it's that I cannot manage life with an extra two dogs. It is the puppy that broke this girl's back, okay? Like, we can't hang. So, if you've been wondering where I've been, for one, I had mastitis, and that had me down for like a week straight. That was awful. So, if you've ever been a nursing mama and you've gotten mastitis, you can feel my pain. Like, literally feel it in your breasts because it's excruciating. And then after that, like, it was my son's birthday. Then after that, 2 days later, we got the puppies. And ever since then, I've been barely able to breathe. So much less record a podcast episode. So here I am. And I want to say it is such a good thing to be able to see the end in sight. Like, this was a good experience. And I'm training the dogs. There's a lot of guidelines in fostering through the program that we're fostering, which is the Love Pit. So if you are in the DFW area and you are interested in pit bull puppies, which are amazing, you guys, do not believe the media hype about pit bulls. We used to have one, which is why we got involved with this organization, and that is who we will in the future adopt a dog when we're ready. But we had a pit bull mix who died of lymphoma when he was 3, and best dog ever. And so we are now at the point to where we're like, you know what, we could probably get another big dog. Definitely not two puppies though. Anyway, so we got involved with this organization. We're fostering, but while you foster, you're required to maintain their training. They cannot be adopted until you've reached all their training milestones. And so not only have I just been watching the dogs, but I've been working with them every day. And also my kiddos, and also my infant, and also I'm still working from home from my 9 to 5. I was going to be done working at the end of the school year because I work for a school, but since coronavirus happened, things got pushed back. I'm now working from home still for them, and I will until all my projects are complete. So I have a lot of things going on. But like I said, the good thing about this experience is it has really pushed us as a family in a lot of ways, good and bad. And I think communicating that as a family, knowing what our limits are, knowing what we're capable of right now, being able to just work through it, like work through the nitty gritty, the ugly stuff, the hard stuff together as a family has been tough. But it's also been good to be like, you know what? Okay, now we know where our limits are at as a family. Now I know where my limits are at as a mom, as a person, as a woman, as a human being. And being able to express that to my husband in less than healthy ways and also in healthy ways. But it's just been a good experience going through the process, trying something new, just exercising your communication. Like, nothing will test your communication, your patience, like getting two dogs, two puppies. I keep saying dogs. There's a huge difference, guys. Like, puppies, I mean, it's like having two babies on top of the baby that I already have. I don't know what possessed me to think that I could do this. And you guys, honestly, I did actually volunteer to take a mom and her whole litter of puppies initially. And they were like, well, maybe not because you've not had experience in that area yet. Thank goodness. They didn't just like, yeah, take her. Um, so that would have been an ultimate nightmare. But we have 2 amazing puppies, and they're great. They just take a lot of attention. And so I'm like training in the yard with one hand while I have a baby on my hip, while I'm like trying to scoop up something and do this. And while, my other accident prone child is dropping rocks on his foot. Like, it's just insane. So, how are you guys doing during Corona? Oh my gosh, you guys, that whole first part, I didn't even have my mic plugged in. I was straight up just talking to my computer. What's also funny is that our word for the year that we chose as a family is adventure. And I can completely attest to the fact that this year has been an adventure since day one. So that is so funny looking back. And I have not read anything about pushing your limits or like seeing your capabilities as a family. And this has happened twice now. Like once when we went skiing, we went to New Mexico to go skiing as a family right before spring break, right before this pandemic happened and, home isolation and all that stuff. And my youngest baby was getting really bad altitude sickness. And so it was kind of one of those things where it was like, we got to call this off, or like he was just suffering. You could tell. And his tiny little body was so hard on him. And so there was one night that we just drove down because we noticed like what altitude we were at. And so we drove to the lowest altitude that we could that wasn't completely like hours and hours away. And so that was a really unique experience as a family to see how we came together. And despite the fact that we were talking about possibilities of leaving early or having to, stay in a different hotel that night, we didn't have any of our clothes. We were just driving, trying to get some comfort for my infant, and just seeing how we united as a family. That was really awesome. And working through that. And then again, with these puppies, just how we've talked about responsibilities. We've involved the kids like 100%. We're also working through like what is actually reasonable to ask the kids to do versus like what do we need to do despite it being inconvenient for us or like very overwhelming for me because of having an infant and trying to make all the meals and trying to do all the things right now. But there's something about it. I wouldn't suggest you just try to purposefully do any kind of pushing of the boundaries as a family, but like just being really intentional about, it's almost like going to one of those camps or, like, what is it? Like escape rooms as a family and seeing how you can work through a problem solving activity, although those are probably much safer because you only go there for a few hours and then you're done. But maybe don't adopt puppies. But it's just been a really unique experience to see how we've managed, and then at the end of it to be perspective and have that hindsight of like, wow, like we made it through that. Like, and we have gained this deeper communication. We've gained extra insight of how we can manage our emotions in these really stressful and overwhelming experiences personally and with each of the kiddos, what they need extra in those times. It's just really insightful, really introspective. And so that is kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm sorry if you guys have been looking in your podcast app. That's really what I came on here to say, is sorry. But I'm sorry if you've been looking for a new episode and it hasn't been there. It's because I can barely breathe. And I guess you guys can probably relate even without adding 2 dogs. Being at home with kiddos right now, being isolated at home. Luckily, if you're in Texas like we are, they're lifting a lot of those quarantine rules, and so everybody's getting out. Like for Mother's Day, I actually went to a restaurant and it was actually pretty busy. Everybody's outside, which I love. I freaking love that everybody's outside right now. But it's just hard. It's like a new level of difficult when you're trying to be a mom, especially those teachers who are literally teaching other children while teaching their own. Like props to you guys. Props to you guys for hanging in there, however you're hanging in there. There are no rules right now. Like survival is the rule. So I want you to feel like you have less pressure. I gave myself less pressure. always, always, I want to show up for you guys the same way that I tell you that you should show up. So when I didn't hop on here, it's because I would have told you the same thing. Don't worry about it. Worry about your family first, the health of your family, the health of your mental well-being. Worry about yourself and those things first. This comes last, you know? And so that is what I did for myself, even though I really every day woke up thinking about what day it was and that, you know, oh my gosh, on this day they would have gotten an episode. Dang it. And I have people messaging me being like, hey, that we're going to interview for that podcast. I'm like, hey, I thought I wasn't going to step and pee this morning. Guess what? Puppy peed right next to right in the kitchen, stepped in it. So that is where I'm at. I have new exciting news, you guys. I'm not ready to share it with you yet. So besides the fact that I wanted to apologize for not showing up on here, there's new stuff coming, new changes happening. We're evolving because we're humans and we're moms and we're women, and as we should, we always grow. And so the things that we are pouring ourselves into, that we are putting out there, is going to grow and change with us. And that is happening. So I have some new and exciting news. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to freaking tell you guys. And so I hope you stick with me. Stick with me. I can't tell you. There's some things that I have to have in place first before I can share the news with you guys. And also, I probably will not be hopping back on until these puppies leave because, oh my gosh, I forgot what it was like to have puppies. But it's like having two toddlers all over again who also pee. Like I don't have a diaper for them. So anyways, hang in there with me. You're going to freaking love this change. You're going to love all this exciting news that I have for you. So hang in there with me. I hope you guys are hanging in there at home, outside, doing whatever you're doing, managing your kiddos, your family. I hope you are choosing your family first, the thriving, or what will make your family thrive versus what is just getting you guys to survive. Like, choose the things that bring you joy and forget about all the rest. Schooling is completely out of the window out over here. I'm looking at it as this is time to spend with them. We are learning through alternative sources right now. That's how I look at it. So anyways, thank you guys for hanging in there. I hope you're having an awesome week. I hope that you guys are getting outside, getting to spend some time pouring into yourself in some way, shape, or form. And I will catch you guys next time.